Am I lovable? Well, the short answer is yes. We are all lovable. But we're all also annoying, flawed, maddening, and provocative when experienced up close and for more than a short period of time. To be human is to be a challenge for other people, unless, by some extraordinary miracle of fortune, we had parents who loved us unconditionally, set the boundaries we needed, encouraged and supported us unreservedly, and disciplined us kindly but firmly. Most of us didn't have parents like that, and our confidence is easily shaken and disturbed by sometimes seemingly minor or even imagined criticisms. Someone might say, "Gosh, you look tired," and we immediately think we're looking very unattractive, when what the person was trying to express is some concern that we might be overworking or are struggling with a problem. Or we rush headlong into an exciting new relationship and are terrified that the adored new person will see how horribly imperfect we are and immediately turn their back on us. To be loved imperfectly as a child is to be left with lingering doubts about our own worth. And if we then worry unduly about our lovability, we hand over all our power and hard-won self-knowledge to another. This leaves us in the passive position of constantly waiting for a verdict about our value to arrive from an external source, instead of valuing ourselves or recognizing our own positive qualities. Even if we are high achievers, successful entrepreneurs, have a wide circle of friends, or have many valuable skills, we may still have a lifelong struggle with self-belief, wherein the rational and emotional sides of ourselves are in constant conflict. We may know, for example, that we're intelligent and have qualifications and a responsible job, yet we still don't feel clever enough. We may think that people don't like us, when in fact we are just perceiving their reactions through the lens of anxiety and fear of rejection, and we completely forget that the important question to ask is if we like them, and not whether they like us. But this doesn't let us off the hook entirely if we really want to consider our lovableness in the round. Remember, we're all hopelessly flawed by virtue of our humanity, and if we truly want to know what could get in the way of universal approval, we might consider doing a self-inventory of our faults and shortcomings. The purpose is not to plunge ourselves into deep despair, but to consider honestly and sensibly what might contribute to making us less lovable than we could be, and therefore might prevent us from enjoying deeper and more satisfying relationships. Here are some statements and questions to help the process. When I'm stressed, I distance myself from others when... What are 3 things I would like to change about myself? What do I do when someone hurts my feelings? How do I hurt other people's feelings? When was the last time I answered a difficult question honestly? What would be a good example of my generosity? How do I show my friends I care about them? Am I able to laugh about myself? How often do I complain to others about something? I criticize others when... I judge other people who... How often do you do things merely for attention? Who do you blame when things go wrong? Do you correct people who make positive but mistaken assumptions about you? What are you not doing because you're afraid of what others would think? What would your ex-partner say were your most vexatious flaws? How often do you tell white lies? How do you manage envy and jealousy? What accusation are you most afraid of? I like to be in control because... My most self-destructive habit is... What are you most afraid of anyone finding out about you? What things do you do to gain approval that you are ashamed of? I tend to lash out when... If you've answered as honestly as you can, then you may have surprised yourself with some of your answers. If you want to take this a stage further, you could jump in at the deep end and ask a trusted friend to also complete it for you, and then compare your answers. Perhaps if you both do this at the same time, you'll stay friends and have a very rich and enlightening exchange over a few glasses of Prosecco.